turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session, back at Nowhere Studios for another guest speaker episode. And as you can clearly see, I am here with a very special guest. I've wanted to have this man on for quite some time. He really is, I think, a jack of all trades, and that's kind of where we're going to start today. But you're a rapper, a singer, a producer. You've done some mixing and engineering. You were a radio host back in the day. Your marketing's incredible. I want to talk about that at some point too. But man, you just kind of do it all, and you're somebody that I have really been a fan of for a long time, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Everyone give a warm welcome to Timi O.
Hey, thank you, my boy. I appreciate you.
I like that.
Yo, I really need that. No, but I appreciate you, Mike. I know that you've really been looking out for me in the game for, at this point, like, what, 2-3 years? Hell, even a little
I looked
early.
back. It was, because the first song was, oh, now it's escaping me. I literally looked the other day. It was so funny. But It was a song with you and l.ucas.
Was it Darlin'?
That was the one.
Yeah,
so
it
it
had
would have
like
been
a
2 years ago.
rose coming out of a palm tree. I remember when I made the graphic.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
remember.
song.
That's the exact
song.
one. I was like,
That was 2020, right? That was
yes.
Okay, so it's been
mid-pandemic. Well,
Okay.
I mean, we're still pandemic, but lockdown era.
It's a little bit of a difference,
Yeah.
vibe right now. Or I shouldn't even say vibe, but yeah, things are a little bit different. Put it that way, a little bit, but in a good way. In a good way, I think we're somewhat back to this new normal. But man, so great to have you, man. This is great. I'm glad we're able to do this in person. I'm glad we waited to do this, and just obviously had l.ucas and Uche on pretty recently, two people you work very closely with, and they had a lot of great things to say about you. And then obviously I saw your headlining show at the Rockwell not too long ago, about 2 months ago now.
Yeah,
which
thanks for coming through, by the way.
Oh, I got you, man, and it was so much fun. It's like me and my girl, like I said, we really in all the other episodes, as any of our listeners, as you guys know, and of course I wrote about it on our blog, and we have we did a little montage of the videos and stuff like that, that footage that we got. You made even more of a fan out of me. You as specifically as a performer, I thought you were just dynamite. And that's
Thank you,
that's just something I definitely want to get into as well in just a little bit. But I first want to talk about where I started in this segment of the podcast. We call this the objectives. This is where we get to know a little bit of your background before we dive into some of the music and some of the things you really care about outside of music. But I'm really interested to hear about your sort of your start, because I feel like you, as I mentioned, you are such a jack of all trades. You feel like you really dabble in so many different things. So was that a conscious thing for you when you were kind of starting this musical journey, where you were like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I kind of gather some skills and be able to do it all? Or did it kind of just come as you were going, I guess, if that makes sense?
I mean, honestly, it was definitely come as I go type beat, because, man, I was broke. I'm still broke. I was like, let me learn how to. Hey, but we're here though.
We are here, absolutely.
It was literally I love rapping. I love doing poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Let me learn how to record and all this. I'm like, okay, but I can't afford studio time. All right, I'll teach myself how to mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I not always getting beats. All right, I guess I'm gonna learn how to make some beats. All right, my beats kind of suck. Word, but I could kind of work with this. It was kind of just continuously learning until I got to a point where I could really do things. But right now, at this point, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, all right, I do a little bit of everything, and I want to do everything, but I really want to hone in on just being able to rap my ass off at this point.
Absolutely. Obviously, as a rapper, I think that is a huge piece of your sort of aesthetic and music. But you can definitely sing, man. I wouldn't sell yourself short on the singing aspect. And even in person, live, I felt like you really can hold your own as a singer. So was that, again, did you kind of just find that skill along the way too, or were you always kind of singing, or was it sounds like rapping was kind of the start of it, but where did the singing come into place as well? How did you decide to get more melodic and sort of soulful with some of your music?
So what's interesting is I've always kind of been, I used to be a lot more melodic in my rapping.
Okay.
When I was in my peak SoundCloud era. And then when I started getting into singing, however, is when I did this song named wow, I've done so many songs in that shit. I can't even. It was on the Misery 22 pack. It was Misery 22 and this one song with Lucas. This is straight up escaping. This is terrible. It's a song right after it. This is one of the points where I wish Deric is in the room, but it's totally. But I did the song right after Misery 22 with Lucas, and I hit a high note, and I was just like, I'm just gonna hit this high note because I can, because I want to. The Inside, yes, it was called The Inside.
There you go. See, it always comes to you like after you stop trying to think of it.
It was straight up just like, all right, I've never done something like this before,
Right.
but I just felt it in my soul to try it out. And then at that point, it was just not being afraid to try new things. And also working with jiida a lot.
Yes.
Honestly, like I would always be like, nah, I'm not a singer though. He'd be like, bro, shut up. You can sing. And I'm like, not like y'all, but I'm going to try it out. But like working with Lucas and jiida, honestly, like kept pushing my boundaries until myself, I was just like, I want to sing more on my tracks.
Absolutely.
Especially on Carefully. That was really fun to do.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite joints here. We'll definitely talk about that one a little bit.
Thank
But I certainly obviously respect the fact that you've been able to be open, I think, to like adapting, your sound and your skill set, right? Because I think like what some artists can get into the habit of is like finding just like a niche and sort of going with it. You don't seem the type like that. You seem like somebody that is willing to like just try new things. And like same as you, like we talked about earlier, like you've dabbled in some production and engineering. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so that must have came after like the artistry, like the singing and the rapping. Was that something that followed a little bit after that, or?
It definitely came a little bit after. Like I find myself in situations sometimes where I'm almost like, okay, if it's either I sit here and I be stagnant or I force myself to get better at these things to be able to run it through. Like I got to a point, especially with engineering, like I engineer on my own music at this point.
Wow.
Unless I'm on a song with Lucas, because Lucas is very particular about his vocals, which I can totally get because I'm also very particular. We're very similar in that. I do engineer every single song I do.
That's amazing.
But in terms of production, it's like, I got to a point where I was sitting with myself and I was like, wow, I want to learn how to produce better, and I want to be able to create like an experience that's very unique to me. Like for example, there's this one song called Depart. I didn't name it on the stage, but it goes, deep and we can go to space some often. I don't know if you remember that, but it was
yes, I do
intense.
actually. I do remember it. Yes.
So I produced that myself because like I feel like I get very, I don't know, like I put stories in my mind, and I get to a point where I'm like, I want to be able to make this come to life.
Sure.
And that's where I taught myself how to produce so I could do that.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, that I think for you working with Lucas, is that something that you kind of watched him? Obviously he did a lot of your early production, and was this something where he like inspired you to start producing, or was that something where it came more within, or maybe a mix of both?
Definitely a mix of both. Yeah. Because just being in a room with Lucas, you're like, too damn good what you do, bro.
I've heard many people say that too, that he's just very just knows exactly, like he's very just confident in the studio. Like I've heard that from a few people now.
Extremely confident in the studio, and it also just comes with like a point of doing something for so long, and also being extremely willing to put in the effort to get better at certain things without anyone having to tell you that. Is just a deadly combination. And then he takes it to the T. It takes it to a point of like even elevating it, because Lucas is the type of person where he may not know what the hell this song is going to be about, or he may not know what the hell the genre is, but he's going to try it. And then he'll be able to reproduce certain elements and take it to a point where he can even make it like unique to himself in like mere minutes. It's ridiculous.
Well, he's
fast.
He's so versatile too. I mean, how many people he's like worked with, and different types of artists that do like very different sounds. I mean, we talked a lot about that on his episode when he was here, and obviously, jiida got brought into the equation on that conversation as well. And that was actually the first song I ever heard of Lucas's, and that's again where I went down the rabbit hole.
No
and found
cap.
No cap. That song, dude. That song in 2020, that was one of my summer jams. Like, I loved just the vibe of it, just the overall aesthetic, and it just really like, I was just obsessed with the song, and then I just went down the rabbit hole with Lucas, and that's eventually how I came onto you. And again, I've been, obviously on all you guys since then, but especially with you, like I've seen such an amazing progression with you. Like I really, really do. And I want to talk a lot about your stage presence, because that's in my next sort of segment or question in this is just like, you've done a lot of performing. I've saw over the years, you've definitely done some like pop-up shows, and I think you've obviously opened for some people, but you've never really headlined a show until this past March, and it was an incredible success. And I just was curious, like looking back on it now over the last couple of months, now you've kind of been able to sit with it, like how do you feel now about it, like being with a little bit of separation from it?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, living in the afterglow of a show like that was incredible.
Yeah.
However, I'm always like, I would just want to get better at what I do.
Sure.
Like, for example, even like leading up to that, you can ask anyone in that group of people. Like, we did maybe 3 or 4 like group rehearsals, but I probably did a minimum of 10 rehearsals up to that show. Like, I just want to make sure I put on the best experience for whoever comes through those shows, because not only are you investing your money, but you're also investing in something that's extremely important to me, which is time.
Absolutely.
Because it's limited. And if you're willing to do that for me, then I have to put in absolutely everything for you, which is where it's like I'm earlier on, I wasn't even like, I used to not want to do shows when I was like really early. Like my boy Namdi, aka It's by New, used to try and get me to do shows like back in college, and I just wasn't about it. Like I did a couple, but not where I'm at now. And then after continuously doing shows, and like even as of recently, I'm like, damn, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Damn, people really like this. Damn.
We really liked it. Like you could, like people, anyone that was there or even saw some of the footage, like you just had a way about you, man. Like you got on the stage and you interacted with the crowd. You made it this sort of like, and all of you did, but you especially, I really felt like your interactions with the crowd and just the unity that we all felt when you were on stage. Like I can't even really describe it in words. I just feel like you are so captivating, and you have this sort of, I don't know if it's like aura is the best word, or maybe charisma is probably the better word. I feel like you are so charismatic on stage, and you're so talented. I mean, that was the first thing my girlfriend really knew. I didn't really know any of you guys, and initially the first thing she said when she saw you on stage, your first song, which I can't remember what the first song was now, it's escaping me, but do you remember?
I do remember the song. It's actually called a song called Check on Me, and that song is not out yet.
Okay. And she was like, wow, he's really good. And I was like, yeah, he is, I know. But obviously I've never seen you live. So I just was so enamored with you as a performer. So where did all that come from? Does like the radio and being sort of in, like being on front of a microphone and camera, like beforehand, like did that help you at all, like as a performer, or is that just something you've sort of like, as you mentioned, like with Lucas in the studio, building confidence? Like I think that's a huge part of it too, but like where did the confidence for you sort of like come from to get you to this point where, again, I think you're one of the better performers I've seen out of this area, for at least at this point.
Well, first, thank you. You almost gonna make me tear up. Second, honestly, I feel like this was all really recent, like in terms of like being able to translate what I do on a microphone to in person.
Right.
Like the first time I think where it really, really came out was the show where I opened up for Michael Christmas at Paragon Boardwalk. Wow. By the way, shout out the Hall House. They reached out so I could do that show. It was really cool.
That's amazing.
I feel like it was just great practice. And like looking in hindsight, it was the first time where I really put in a ridiculous amount of effort to like really make sure that I was on my shit for that show. Like that's where the amount of just being in the TRC, the record co, doing a whole lot of rehearsals like almost every week or multiple days in that week up to the show to be able to make sure I was on my shit. That's when I really got to the point where I'm like, okay, I know all my songs. I know how to say it from the T. Yeah. I have a couple dance moves in mind, which I did not do, by the way.
But got a little cold feet on that end of it?
Just a little bit cold feet, but I've been getting better with that.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was there. And, of course, I always have my crew with me, like shout out JMC. Like, I always have Lucas and Deric, like, right by my side. Same thing with Jordan. He couldn't make the first one, but I know if he could, he would have been there, definitely. It just having a really good team backing you who like believe in everything that you do and at the same time are not willing to tell you when you are on some bullshit. And at the same time, just being prepared got me there.
Yeah.
And for this one especially, though, I will say I was definitely still nervous. I'm like, it was the first headlining show, but I was prepared. I was able to bring the same bravado onto the stage. There's even a moment that a girl I thought was really cute and still think is very cute was literally in the crowd, and I saw her smiling, and I'm like, word. We in this.
It's working.
It's working. We doing good.
I got the Riza, as Uche might say.
That's perfect.
That wasn't rehearsed, I promise. That just came to me. No, I'm proud of that one.
You should be.
Because I think Uche would be proud that I use it properly in the right context.
Absolutely.
No, that's really funny. No, but I think you hit the nail on the head there. And there's this great saying that the varsity coach that I work underneath at Andover, Coach Fazio, shout out Coach Fazio, who says this all the time to our players: prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Absolutely.
And I'm a big alliteration guy since I'm an English teacher. So that one's stuck up here, and he's right. I mean, I love that saying, that phrase, because you're so right. It's like, if you are prepared, then you're going to be successful. Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, if you are, it sounds like you're putting in so much time and energy in the hours, right? Especially to make sure that these performances are exactly what you want them to be. And I feel like, I'm sure you're not quite where you want to be yet, and I'm sure that there's like things that you want to improve on. Maybe that's a question too. Like, is there anything that you feel at this point, like, it seems like you're somebody that really cares about the craft and about, the performances and all of that stuff. So for you, like, where would you like to see yourself go from here? Because again, like, I think you're in a really good spot. I think it's, like I said, super engaging performer, but like, where do you see yourself going from here as a performer?
Honestly, I feel like as I continue to progress as an artist and like just as a person in general, I feel like there's always going to be a better way.
Right.
Like, being Nigerian, when your parents see that you got a 99 instead of that 100, that you can always be better. Jokes aside, like, I think that as I get on larger scale stages and see way more people who are going to eventually know my songs and know all these lyrics and everything, there's just going to be way better ways to interact with them and make sure that they're having their best experience.
Definitely.
Whether it be set design, stage design, even who I decide to bring on with me that might correlate with like the whole group. Working with Deric closely, because he went absolutely insane on the way that we put together that damn show.
Oh, I'm aware. Like, I saw him before I really met him, like, for real. I had a funny feeling he was like either a manager or something. I didn't know exactly at the time, but I kept seeing him walk back from backstage out into the crowd, and then like just in like man on a mission, just like head, like not even head on a swivel, just like, all right, just focus, like, all right, like laser, just like laser in, laser back out, laser back. And I was like, damn, this dude's working, hustling, he's doing something like really important backstage.
But even like, it's the same energy even before you even get to this. Like, Deric has always been extremely good at making sure that everything that needs to be done gets done. Like, sure, you have a manager and then you have the artist, but like, he really goes the extra mile to make sure that everything is there, especially with that show. Like, the conception of that was, I definitely give to him. Like, he went absolutely insane to make that. So with future shows, and like, as we get bigger and we continue to progress, like, working with him on these crazy ass ideas that are going to come into my mind and also come into his mind as well, because it's a partnership, is going to be fucking incredible.
That's amazing, bro. No, seriously, like, it's so awesome that you have like a great team. You said it earlier, just having that team around you, that backing, the people that really believe in you and what you're doing. And you all seem like you have a really common goal, and it really doesn't seem as though there's like a ton of ego involved. You guys are just so like, just you move well as a unit, and but also individually too. Like, I think that there's like, I think you could argue that, you guys are, obviously a great team, and, some is greater than, it's equal parts, but I think individually you guys also really do shine. And clearly, like, Deric has helped you guys out with that a ton. Lucas talked a lot about that, how he kind of gave you guys a lot of confidence early on to like push and do this. So that's amazing, man. I think that you're absolutely right. The team that you have behind you is as important as anything else, all the work that goes into it, because unfortunately there's not enough time in the day. There's only a certain amount of time you can do. And while, like I said, you definitely are a jack of all trades, you've certainly picked up a ton of skills. Seems like you're a DIY guy to to the death of it. But at the same time, like you can't literally do it all, right? You are only one person. And then I think it's more fulfilling and rewarding when you have the people around you that you can celebrate those wins with, even if they're small wins. I think your guys' show is definitely, I would say at least a mid-size, if not a big win for me. Like I said, we walked away from that like, damn, that was just amazing. It's the way you guys structured it with just like, it wasn't just, okay, Timi O's set and then he's done. Like I said this on Lucas's podcast where it's like, it just felt like you never really knew what was coming next.
Exactly.
And as a, I mean, obviously I was there sort of, I don't say working, but I was looking at it as a a journalist from the journalist perspective. But just as a music fan, I loved that format. So I hope that you guys continue to like, and I think you will, just to be creative and try new things, because I think like something like that really paid off, like dividends, to be honest. So,
nah, facts. And
great
thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I definitely want to move into the second part of the show, which is the main lesson. So we're going to really dive into some music and talk about some other things about, things you care about, and you would get to know you a little bit more as a person. And the first question, I think, before we dive into specific music, I saw a post. This was probably, I think, 3 years ago now, and it was really interesting. You said in the post that you felt like, I think you were promoting a song, but you had said something like, I think I'm a really good listener, but I have a hard time expressing my thoughts and feelings sometimes, like getting those out. And I was curious if the music side of things has helped with that at all, like in the writing, the songwriting that probably goes into your music, because I was a little surprised reading that from you, because I feel like your music, at least the stuff that's been coming out lately, is introspective and does have a deeper message than just like some surface level stuff. So, talk to me a little bit about where you maybe were at that moment, if you can remember that point in time, or even before then, like being that type of person as a better listener, and maybe not somebody that could express themselves as much as they felt like they should or could. And how has the music maybe helped you progress to get to that place you want to be just as a human?
I think I might recall that post. It might have been 2 years ago, and it could have been the song, the two, I guess, bundles, which you're supposed to call it, and I Myself is where I might have been talking about that.
Okay.
So it might have been like one of the first times I actually like really got into like, I guess, how I was feeling in the moment. Nowadays, I feel like I have gotten a lot better at being able to express, I guess, where I'm at as a human being.
Yeah.
Because over the pandemic, gift and a curse. Definitely more of a curse than a gift, but it allowed me to just sit down my thoughts and like really think about, okay, how are all these different things affecting me? Subconsciously, I actually always used to do that in my music without even thinking about it, because I spent a lot of time freestyling some of my stuff.
Yeah.
But like as I freestyle, I would literally subconsciously bring up emotions I was feeling or previously had felt before that might have been traumatic to me or deeply influenced just how I was feeling as a person. Nowadays, I make like more of a conscious effort to like voluntarily just be extremely vulnerable on my music. Like, for example, like Steady Hand, which we can get to more later because I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Screw it. We can talk about it now. Let's talk about Steady Hand. That's one of my, I haven't heard the actual song itself, but it was my favorite song that you, and for me, my favorite song that I heard that night from you, you performing. I love that freaking song, man.
Thank you, bro.
And that comes out on June 29th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So make sure you guys look out for that. That's coming out very soon. This, obviously this episode is out already before then. So definitely I'm sure we will promote it when it comes out. So definitely make sure you check that song out when it does drop on the 29th of this month. But yeah, talk to me about Steady Hand a little bit.
So in terms of Steady Hand, it was a situation where I had gone through a lot of stuff in the past months, and it was weighing pretty heavily on me. I got to a point where I was kind of just like, damn, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? And I had like a bit of a writer's block, like where I felt like I wasn't making music that I really felt like at all in terms of like a person. And in terms of just an artist, like it was a pretty low point. So going through all this, and on top of that, having multiple other factors come in, I just kind of like sat with a beat that, or I was in a pretty makeshift session with Lucas, where he played me a beat, and I'm like, okay, I really fuck with this, and I took it back to my own spot, and I wrote to it, and I started just thinking about everything in the past that had happened in the last few months, and I'm like, damn, this has been really balled up. And usually when I deal with any situation, like I tend to just try to diffuse it as opposed to like really, or previously I would try to diffuse it as opposed to really experiencing it and really expressing like how I was feeling. And the other person wouldn't get a chance to understand where I'm coming from, and that would leave a lot of leeway into a situation that like become worse in terms of relationship with the person.
Right. Or they could maybe interpret it in like a different way. Yeah.
Where like it seems like you're not actually caring about what's going on here. Where in reality is like I care, or I cared, but at the same time I just didn't want it to become a worse situation. But in turn it was creating something else. So with Steady Hand, I was like, I just thought about everything that happened. I'm like, damn, what if I just said what was on my mind? And then like I just was like, all right, let me turn that up to 10. Which is where you have extremely different flows from what you're used to from me. Where it's like, usually I like to be very calm or come off as like a very just like chill person.
Yeah.
Whereas like Steady Hand was where I was like, let me just say fuck it and just say exactly what I'm saying, or what I was thinking in those time periods.
And the soundscape, at least what I'm recalling, it seemed a little bit darker than a lot of your other music. So does that like kind of play into that? Were you trying to like kind of paint that picture as well, not with just the lyricism, but also like the aesthetic of the actual beat itself, like you and Lucas kind of sitting down and making that beat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And well, the funny thing about that beat is like Lucas made it at first, and then he was like, he kept it very real. He was like, man, I'll fuck with this beat. But the cool thing about Lucas is that he's like, you know what? I believe in what you're trying to do. I'm still gonna let you do whatever you gotta do. So I made the verses, made the chorus, brought it back to him. He was like, yeah, this beat's fucking trash. Let's make it harder. So we made it harder. He adds like all these. I started to describe like what I was going for. / he just does very well at picking up what like I was saying, and he helped me like create the scape to, I guess, really, really emphasize what I was going for.
Sure.
Which is where it's like extremely dark and intense, because those were the emotions that were going in, especially when it gets to that second verse, but people haven't heard that yet.
Yeah.
June 29th.
June 29th, y'all. Definitely make sure you check that thing out.
I'm not saying that you might be excited for one more thing too.
Ooh.
There's a music video too for it.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go. The visuals that you create are something I really want to get into, particularly with your latest song that is out now, which is Chiro. But that's where we'll start before we take a quick pause here, because it's time, any of our listeners know, at least for the last couple of episodes we've been doing, as we've reformatted these, I have to give you a pop quiz, good sir.
Damn.
So, and that's the bell. So there you go. Now we know that pop quiz is here. So the way this is structured, okay, sort of like you answer these questions to the best of your ability, as quickly or as efficiently as you possibly can. Some of these might maybe need a little bit more TLC or a little bit more explanation. So as anybody that listened to Lucas's episode knows, as we talked about, that Deric is a really good cook and you're a foodie. So this is a two-part question. So what's the best dish that Deric makes, and what's your just favorite food like overall to eat?
So far, I don't think Deric has cooked the same thing for me twice.
No kidding.
Yeah, well, because
Deric, when are you coming over and cooking for me? Holy shit, bro.
Well, it's kind of like we don't usually, like, when we do plan, right?
Yes.
When we do plan for a thing, like, he'll go absolutely hard. I think my favorite thing he's ever made is the salmon. The salmon went fucking insane, bro. I ain't gonna lie. He was like, yeah, just try this out too. I've never made candied lemons. Was it candied lemon? I think it was candied lemons on the end.
Damn.
And so it was under the salmon, and then it's just the base. I'm like, yo, this is flavor. This is just incredible. This is what flavor is supposed to be. And I'm very particular about my food. Like, I will rash the shit out of some food. I have no problem with doing that. And I'll tell you to your face. Lovingly, of course.
Yeah. You're not gonna be an asshole about it, but yeah, you're gonna be honest.
But yeah, I think the salmon that Deric has cooked is probably one of the best. He's also made like very good pesto dishes.
Cool.
He prides himself on his Italian heritage very much as well. And
Much respect, Derek.
yeah,
Love that.
I talk a lot of shit, but I can't when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And he's never lost yet. Facts.
I love that.
Yeah, he also doesn't eat like red meats or
Huh.
yeah, he's pescatarian, mostly like vegetarians. Well, y'all never talked about this before?
No, we didn't get this much in depth about it with
Damn.
Lucas. No, we didn't.
Yeah, no, he went.
And he was in the room last time. Like, and
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, he. Sorry if I'm exposing you, Derek. I didn't mean to go too deep into that. But yeah, every dish he makes, like, despite I come from a Nigerian household, where if there's not meat in the dish, then it usually isn't a meal.
Gotcha.
Whereas I've obviously grown out of that as I've been like very like intense with like health stuff, just making sure that I stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything he cooks feels like a full meal, despite not having that meat dish that I grew up with. A lot of that, and he just goes hard.
Definitely, that's dope. So for you though, what's your favorite food like ever, like last meal type deal? Like what's
Damn, last meal?
No, well, not now, of course, but I'm talking like if hypothetically speaking.
Shit, death row.
Yeah,
lethal injection coming.
I didn't mean to take it like that. I didn't mean to make it so dark. But.
Nah, I'm always the worst when it comes to this. Damn. You might just have to. I'm petty. I'm real petty. So you about to kill me? Bet you cooking everything I like. I need the goddamn fried chicken sandwich. It has to be and it has to be made by Gordon Ramsay. Actually, no. Gordon Ramsay, I've literally seen him fuck up actually, I'm not, no slander here, I'm sorry. But
it's okay. I don't think Gordon Ramsay's going to listen to this. If he does, that's
I hope
incredible.
He does.
I hope he does.
I really hope you do. If you do, I love you. I appreciate you.
Feel free to sponsor any Turntable Teachers episode you want. Anyway.
Facts. But he, there was like a whole like mythical kitchen thing about him messing up grilled cheese.
Really?
Yeah, that grilled cheese did not
hit.
No, it like literally the cheese didn't melt. How you grill cheese without it melting? It was crazy. And then I think they went on a back and forth about it, and he got rashed about it. It was pretty cool. But sorry, getting back to it. I need the fried chicken sandwiches.
Yep.
I need some salmon.
Okay.
I need some jollof rice. Jollof rice is a Nigerian dish.
Yes.
Everyone has it right. Okay,
I'm aware.
Word. Culture. Appreciate it.
Somewhat. Trying my best.
I need some. Oh wait. One thing I need some boli. Boli is
I'm not familiar with
it's
that.
baked plantain.
Ooh,
and then you
like
usually
plantains.
have peanuts on the side, but what we do in the family is peanut butter. You just dip the baked plantain into the peanut butter and go crazy. I haven't had that. I would always just chomp them down. My father a lot. Damn, what else? If I'm being petty, I need lemonade. I need iced tea, and I also need a very special Armor Palmer to be made for me. I need the most expensive lemonade you could ever have in your entire life, and I need the most expensive iced tea, and I need you to source that shit from France.
Wow.
Actually, no, the lemonade. I need the lemonade from Southern Georgia, and then I need the tea leaves to come from India, because the British steal everything.
They do.
Obviously.
Yes, they do.
And then after that, the person who's gonna make the iced tea also has to be from Georgia as well.
Fair enough.
But-
Okay. What a meal this is. This is like,
Absolutely,
you're going in.
I mean, absolutely everything. And I need some goddamn salad too. Caesar
Damn,
salad.
you trying to get your greens in before that?
Absolutely.
Before death row? Damn, I
You
wouldn't touch a salad first. And I eat salad almost every day at this point. So.
Because I feel like after I eat a salad, I can eat more.
That's fair.
It's a problem.
Well, man, I don't know if I'd want to go out to dinner with you, bro. I feel like you'd run a pretty high bill.
Hell no, I save money. We get one thing.
Oh, I love it. That was a great answer. That was more in depth than I expected. But so I know you're a massive fan of Tobi, as am I.
That's
He's
my boy.
He's amazing. What impact has he had on you as like an artist, just as a person as well?
Man, I've known Tobi since 2009, and the only reason I met him, I don't even think I told Deric this or anyone, is that
Turntable Teachers exclusive.
I was at a friend's house named Victor, who also goes by Tobi, by the way. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Tobi just means big in Yoruba, which is Yoruba is my tribe from Nigeria.
Yes.
And we had to go do laundry. He was like 10 something, so we had to go to his crib. And the reason why I met Tobi is because we had to do laundry at Tobi's crib.
That's how you met him.
That is literally how I met Tobi. It's the most random stuff, and he used to go by Tech Rhymes at the time. And then,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Because I like a lot of his. He's got this song I think called like Still Blues or something like that. I believe it's called.
You're talking about City Blues.
City Blues. That's it.
Still.
That's it.
Still was the name of the album.
Okay, I mixed the two.
It's cool. I used to wear that hat all the time.
that project. I think it was like a short album or EP or something like that. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that City Blues track is my shit. I love that song.
But
anyway,
it's crazy because Tobi literally. Like, that was the only interaction we had, but I was looking for a place to record because I was my pop's place and I didn't have any of my equipment. So he was kind enough to just let me record at his place while we were still getting at it. And I remember specifically making a song. It was one of my first songs in a while. That was like really me rapping, and I don't even remember the name, but it was off of a beat from Jacon Guru, who now goes by JTBS, and that's the homie as well.
Awesome.
Nerdcore community, but that's like a whole nother rabbit hole for another day. So after that, he's like, damn, you kind of got talent. You got to go for it. But like, it'd be like every summer or like every few times I go visit my father, I would also visit him to work on music.
Sick.
And like, it would be like just showing each other new stuff. And like, as I was growing, because it was crazy, I actually had like a bigger SoundCloud following than him at the time.
Really?
Yeah. And then he started progressing bigger, and we just go back and forth every time I come through.
Yeah.
And just like, I would learn from him. And, like, it was just, like, putting each other on the game. Because, like, I would literally freestyle ideas with him. And it was just dope.
That's dope as shit.
And then as I grew older and as we grew older, it was just, like, it's always been, like, a mutual respect thing. Which is how it is.
That's dope.
Like, even where he's at right now, which is, like, bro has a fucking Juno.
Yeah.
He has a Juno award. Like, that's incredible. Like, I have nothing but love and respect. That's my brother, no cap.
Dope. Shout out Tobi, seriously.
Facts.
Not a lot of people, like, that I know him, so that's why, like, I've put a few of my friends onto him before I even really knew you guys even knew each other. So that's super dope. Like, I've always been a huge fan of his when I came on again. I think that was the first time I heard him, and then I backlogged, and yeah, so good. So if you guys haven't heard Tobi, make sure you check him out.
You really should.
Really should, for sure. What's the meaning behind Timi Two Strand? And I don't really ask these questions normally, but I'm just kind of genuinely curious. Like, what does Timi Two Strand mean?
It was the most random. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the most random shit that just became like bigger than I realized and anticipated, and was able to like really understand why I did it later on. So the first time I ever was like, yo, let me try twisting my hair. I got a twist out. And I didn't have enough hair for it to like really go. And what a twist out is, you put them in twists and you take them out, and it's just curly.
Gotcha.
And someone called me Timi Twist Out.
Okay.
A homie called me Timi Twist Out. And then after that, I ended up I started getting two-strand twists as my hair was getting longer. And then I was like Timi Two Strand, and that was the brand. But like, it's just like, I was just like, man, I really like my hair, and hair like, hair is very important to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think I even said some shit along the lines of like, don't fucking touch my hair. This shit too expensive. On like a track I was working on recently, like to a point where it's part of my identity. Like it plays a huge role into like who I am, even like how I get ready for the day.
Yeah.
Like who I see in the mirror. My hair is like a huge thing for me. Also, like being a black person in general, like our hair texture is very unique to us.
Sure.
And like it plays a huge part into who we are as a person. So Timi Two Strand just kind of like it was just like a spur of the moment thing, but it became bigger as I came to like understand myself more as a person, and also like understand people around me as well.
Sure. Huh. It's a really nice answer for that question. I was not expecting that.
Thank you.
That was very good. You're doing great so far.
Appreciate you.
I think I'm about to get you right now, though.
Sheesh.
So, is it true that you used to work at Apple?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, why do you create music on a PC instead of a Mac?
Yeah, I know this shit was coming. There's no fucking way. It's literally the one thing I get teased about all the time. The reason why I create music on a PC is cost effectiveness. I'm a huge fucking nerd. Like, I literally game I don't game as much, but I used to game a lot on Steam and everything. Actually, no, I still game, man. That's cap. That's cap. I know Deric definitely said, "Huh?" Ain't no in the back somewhere, but it was cost effectiveness at first because like I would want to play my games and also have a PC that's strong enough to work on Ableton because Ableton. I'm gonna look into the cam for this. Supports multi-core processing on AM4 processors and AM4 processors on AMD. I built that shit for myself to be able to work on Ableton beautifully. And that is the reason why I use a PC. However, I will say, yes, I know Macs are incredible and they're beautiful. And everyone in JMC, as well as everyone I basically work with who has a Mac, is like, damn, I wish you could just airdrop this to me, and I get teased about it constantly.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Well, first, real quick, Apple didn't fire you because of, like they found out you were using PCs or anything like that, right? All right, that's good.
No. I used to talk about it all the time, though. It was pretty funny.
But like for you, like sending demos through like Instagram Messenger and stuff like that, is that a thing where like it just sounds better through that, or is it just a
no? They're just being so petty. I know exactly who asked this question. I'm about to rash the lady, but
he said that you would.
I did it once. I literally did it once. But I use WeTransfer usually.
Okay, all right. So it's not that Instagram, Messenger has better sound quality or anything like that.
No, it had to be the most down bad moments.
Hey, well, I gotta say, you got this specific human being earlier, and for when he came on my show, and you got him good. So I think you guys are even. You guys are even now.
I didn't even get him that good though. That was like that's a genuine thing he likes.
Shout out, Lucas. All right, last one. This is actually like a legitimate actual question that I'm just curious about, because I know you guys like sometimes travel to like you guys will go to the mountains or like a beach house or something like that,
yes,
and you guys will record, I think, which is super dope. And I've heard like a lot of other artists and producers doing things like retreat style. So do you think that's important for artists to like switch up their settings and where they create the music? Because I know like you could easily like get inspired anywhere and like write music, but like literally like where you record it and where you make it, is that like you think that is a really beneficial and important thing for people to be doing or artists to be doing?
That is extremely important. I feel like exposing yourself to new environments also exposes you to new opportunities to get inspired. Like I'm not a wilderness person. I'm not like
really.
Big
hiker over here. Love it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. I'm not sorry at all. I apologize for apologizing because I'm not sorry. I'm a city person.
Damn. Now I'm getting roasted.
But no, I've always been a pretty steady person. Yeah. I think one of the coolest things about being part of JMC is that you have Deric and you have Lucas and you have Jordan, who all like the fucking outdoors. And especially Deric, who will literally jump off a cliff. And one of my favorite pictures of him is actually of him jumping off a cliff. I will show you one day. And by one day, I mean in a few hours after this. Yeah. And like you have people who take you out of your comfort zone. And then we go to like these different retreats and we just gain new inspiration to either start something new or finish something. Like, for example, I literally just finished I think is probably one of the most important tracks I've ever recorded on our last retreat. And I've had that song for like a year and I didn't touch it. In fact, Chiro I had for 2 years. I literally had that song for 2 years and I had finished it 2 years ago. And we just released it now. Yeah. But in this situation, I felt like I needed inspiration to finish this one track with Lucas, who did production on it. And I got back to it, and I wrote the verse on the plane, came back, cleaned it up, and then I delivered it in the best way possible on our last retreat.
Dope. And so good. I love that. Again, because somebody I got a whole half sleeve tattoos. It's all nature inspired. So like you kind of I'm not gonna get too offended.
Nature boy Ric Flair.
But in all seriousness, I think that's like so cool that like you guys do that shit. I think that's like I love that. I think it's awesome. Actually, great transition into Chiro. I definitely want to talk about the track. Cool if we play a little clip of it for the people so totally they can hear about it. All right. Well, this is Timi's new single called Chiro. All right, we'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm wanna hit your line. I wanna hit your line, yeah. I wanna hit your line. I wanna hit your line, yeah. I wanna crack your spine. I wanna crack your spine. I wanna crack your spine. I wanna hit your 1, 2, 3, see your beauty every angle. Let it down your head like that man character from Tangled. 1, 2, 3, see your beauty every angle. I wanna lay you down from your head down to your ankle. What you need? I got that. I got that. I got that. I got what you need. I got that. I got that. I got that. I got. Beautiful women, melanin. I love it. Yeah, baby, you got it. Oh man.
Dope song.
Thank you.
Love it. And it's interesting because I feel like it's one of the more just kind of fun tunes you have, and like it doesn't take itself super seriously. Like the part had me rolling with the music video when you're just like mean mugging the frog. Like that shit was hilarious. Like where do you come up with some of these, like some of your music videos? There's like some like a lot of like just like quirky little things like that. Like where do you come up with this shit? Is it just like on the fly, or is it just like, is there a vision there?
That was the most random shit.
Random
we've
shit.
Ever done. We did not expect that frog to have as much of a cameo as it did.
I mean that was like, yeah, it got a lot of airtime.
I don't know if you noticed it was in multiple scenes.
Yes, I did. I noticed it. Yeah, a couple. That's why I'm saying it got a lot of airtime. Like
we were just
no
this shit looks really good. I'm gonna look at this fucking frog. We're gonna look at this frog. We're gonna go back and forth. I remember because we flew Max. So one thing to very much highlight on this is that we flew Max out.
Okay.
Shout out Max Noken. I believe it's Noken. Yes, Noken. Max Noken. And we also had Jacob Rodier.
That name sounds really familiar.
Yes, and
I've seen that name floating around.
He also worked on Steady Hand music video.
No shit.
And we're working on a lot of cool shit. Shout out to James as well. Or my bad, Jimmy. Because we call him Jimmy. That's the boy. Brock and he go crazy, bro. Like that was the team. So we were putting together that video. And fun fact as well, we put together that video the same weekend as Bad Place.
Okay, interesting.
We literally did that. That if anyone who's listening to this or watching this who does film knows that shooting a music video in a weekend, let alone 2 music videos,
that's kind of crazy.
Some crazy shit.
That's crazy.
So we literally did that music video in like a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was looking. I couldn't help. I looking at some of the YouTube comments. Deric's being one of them. How you got to be the first artist ever to get an adjustment.
Exactly.
And I saw one other comment that was like, "This song cured my back pain." Like, thank you.
I saw that as well. That was
Pretty
the highlighted one prior to Deric's, and I'm like, nah, that has to be it. Man, I gotta add Soulja Boy too.
That's so funny. No, I really like this track because I feel like it doesn't take itself super seriously. It's fun. Yeah. I think it's an interesting break from some of the other music you've been coming out with that's been a little bit more deeper and introspective. So I really enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
It's a great job. I mean, guys, definitely go stream it. We'll link it in the description, the music video and the songs. Make sure you check that both of those songs out. And then this year you also dropped a song called Carefully.
Yes, sir.
Which I also really, really like as well. The hook's super catchy. Please tread carefully. So dope.
Thank you.
Curious, like, where the inspiration for that song came about and really the makings of that one, too.
So, actually, this kind of links into each other a little bit from Cairo. And so, I have to bring up this server. Shout out to Monty Booker and creating a Discord server.
That name sounds familiar, too.
Monty Booker is one of the best producers I've ever heard in my entire life, and he produces a lot for Smino.
That's how that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I know that name. Okay. Because I like Smino a lot. Anyway.
So he literally created a Discord server, and he had a huge presence on SoundCloud, and also just has a huge presence as a producer right now. So you literally have all these producers from the SoundCloud era coming in. And a lot of those producers being like old friends of mine or old friends of me in Meltycanon, which I somehow haven't brought up in this once, which is crazy.
Because you had a lot of music with him too.
I literally be in freaking Discord chats with him almost every day.
He's super dope.
Yeah,
it's another one. Yeah, I really like his stuff too.
But he gets into the story as well.
Go ahead.
So we're basically just in Discord chats, like with all these crazy ass producers just cooking up. Everyone's just cooking up. I'm either in there freestyling. Like one day I literally freestyle for 3 hours straight with T-Watt and all these dope ass producers. Shout out T-Watt, by the way. And one day I'm with the homie Killer Manzigo, who's also an incredible producer. I'm just bringing up shitload of names at this point because there's just a whole lot of people. It was insane. And she brings in her friend Jack, aka Cumulus Frisbee. So we're chilling in the VC, and like we're just showing each other our stuff, and Jack showing beats. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This is insane. I've never heard some shit like this. And it's crazy because he doesn't make songs with artists. Like he doesn't have releases or too many releases with artists, and I'm listening to these beats and they're all like jazz inspired, which has a deep place in my heart because I used to play saxophone and I was in the orchestra for like about 7 years and in grade school.
Oh, good for you.
So
That's dope as shit.
He's listening to my stuff. I'm listening to his stuff. And he's making the beat. He's like, yo, I'm down to work with you. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. So he makes the beat in the call. He makes the beat in the Discord call on the VC chat, and then after that. He sends me the beat. I finished the ID in like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, in like an hour I was on that joint, and it was basically I was definitely feeling myself when I made that damn track.
You can feel your energy on that one in particular.
But I just came off a wave of huge inspiration. So then same wave of inspiration. Obviously, I'm showing Meltycanon, and I just call him Zach, so I'm just gonna use that name. I'm obviously showing Zach all my ideas and everything. And he's like, this is dope as hell. This is probably one of my favorite things from you as well. So then we Come Carefully. In that same Monty Booker Discord server, John X was there. And John X I actually made a song from him like 7 years at this point ago when I purchased a beat from this one website of his. And that's how I relinked with them. So then he starts sending me like a big ass beat pack. And multiple songs from that show were produced by John X. So he sends me one for Carefully, and where it has that sample, which everyone thinks is lazy, which is hilarious. It's not lazy. Although we have joked around having her sing it at like shows and such. And from there, I'm just like, this is, I'm going to sing on this. Just immediately, I'm like, okay. And Zach had always been like pushing me to like really try and expand on my stuff as well. On top of that, like, having Jiida being an incredible singer and also having Lucas being a great singer as well. And they both also say they are not great singers, but they are way better singers than me. And we all know that.
We all know that.
We all know that. Come on.
And they do too deep down. They're too humble. But
damn well, yeah. So then from there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and like expand on it and like really play around. So that's how I started with like the Please Tread Carefully being like probably like the most prolific / the chorus for the song. And then I get into the verse where like I try flows that I'm not very comfortable with, and it was cool. Like the original version actually had a little bit more of the falsetto in the first part, but then showing Zach, he's like, man, this shit sounds like two dudes dapping up. And I'm like, yeah, let's try this out. So then we get that. So he's like, it would be crazy if you had this type of part. I'm like, wait, you mean literally? And then that's how that bad chitty on the Sally, since you got a little bit of time, I'll give it like, so from there. And then after that, it was literally just one of those moments of like, yo, it'd be crazy if you had it. Like Deric does it a lot for me as well. He's like, yo, it'd be crazy if you had this. And it'd be like, it's like the most small, minimal idea of just words, but it's like immediately like, oh, bam. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then after that, we just piece that first verse together. And then the falsetto that I was thinking of adding earlier, I ended up doing that for the verse on the second half because I was like, I very much need to go out of my comfort zone here, and I want to do something different, which is where that falsetto came out.
And good for you, man, for like doing that, for making sure that you like get outside that comfort zone, and also like being inspired by other people, and really some of these people that are really your contemporaries, but also your peers now as well, in the same way of like, making sure that you put your best foot forward. But, I think like when you're in the room with somebody like that, I feel like you can either go one of two ways. It's either like you kind of falter and you maybe get nervous, you're not ready, or it elevates exactly what you're doing. And it sounds like to me that it's done the latter, where it's completely elevated where you're going and the trajectory you have. Like, I think for you, I hope even hearing yourself talking about this maybe out loud, that you hear that, man, like a lot of people think like you got it, man. Like seriously, there's a lot of people that really believe in what you're doing and believe in your sound and your craft and just you as a vocalist and as a lyricist and a writer. And again, like I've always loved too the way you market things and just like all the, you know, the pictures you take, the videos, like they all really just give like anybody the Timi O experience. And it's incredible, bro. So like that's an awesome story, by the way. That's just like I'm happy for you, man, because I think you deserve it. I love your energy. I love your just, you know, you seem like such a good human being as well.
Thank you.
And you deserve it, man. You deserve everything that's coming your way, man, for real. Now, if I don't get a chance to say that, I wanted to make sure I did. So
No, I really do appreciate it. And, you know, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I've been making music for a long period of time. I feel like I've recently been in a good run of just like seeing constant improvement and also just being in the room. Like being in the room with people who are obviously extremely good at what they do. And just being around that energy just inspires you to be better.
Definitely.
Like you said, it's like it just gets you to that next point.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
And also it's like peers, but like these are just the homies. Like I remember vividly, actually this happens almost all the time. Going into a Discord chat and being a nerd, you're in like old communities and everything. And it was like, yo, is that Meltycanon? Oh my God, you have a song with? I'm like, bro, this is just Zach, bro. Chill.
Yeah. To you, it's just Zach. Yeah, it's just a homie. But again, it's got to be great for you to understand that, like that you've gotten to that place because he respects you as an artist, respects you as a person, right? Because that's the biggest thing, and that's the biggest thing I've seen in this industry, just as from like a journalist podcast side of things, where like the relationships are really like, I think the best part about it, but also the most important as well.
Absolutely.
Like I love when, and again, like you and I have had a really good rapport now for a little while, but more so now that like when I went to your show, I feel like we've definitely like got off on a way better foot just because we got to know each other a little bit better.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'll always take away from this stuff. Like regardless of how big you get or wherever you go, like you know, that piece of it really for me is like what I love about doing what I do is like the relationships and like, you know, regardless of where our platform goes and how like, you know, big or successful, however you want to like, you know, measure that. I think what I'll always, and I say this to a lot of people when they ask like, you know, what my end game is with this, it's just more or less like, you know what, like for me, like I will always take away the relationships and like the friendships I feel like I've made throughout this shit. And like, so, and I feel like I mean, as an artist, I'm sure it's the exact same way where it's like,
Facts.
you know, these people become, they're not your friends or, I mean, so they're not your peers or your contemporaries anymore. They can become literally just your friends. You just know them on a first name basis.
Exactly.
That's so amazing, man. Good for you. And like I said, you're just doing so many great things. Speaking of that, you have some things coming up that I wanted to talk about really quick. Speaking of performing, I don't know how I missed this earlier, and I've been doing some promo work with him that should be out at this point. If it's not, it's coming out really soon. But Mako, you're opening for Mako with Sleeping Bella and Dev Soder. Lineup sounds incredible. Make sure you guys get your tickets. I'll be there. I'll be covering the show again for that one in particular. But definitely make sure you guys go to this. It's going to be an amazing, amazing night. It's June 30th at the Crystal Ballroom in Somerville. Get your tickets now. It's all ages. Stores at 7. I think I got everything down. Mako, hopefully I'm
the man know what you're talking about. You got it down.
I think I got it down. But yeah, so that's going to be amazing for you. You got that coming up. That's a day after Steady Hand drops. That's going to be a really great weekend for you in general.
Yes, sir.
What else is on the horizon, man, for Timi O going forward and the rest of the year and going forward?
So there actually is another show that I actually haven't even announced yet coming earlier. Another performance coming a little earlier. So in about 2 weeks at the state park, I'm going to be performing as well on June 19th. I know that's Father's Day, but it's for Juneteenth.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be doing that. In terms of the time, I have the worst memory in the entire world when it comes to this shit. However, you should definitely check my social media, and I'm going to be posting about it soon.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I'll be away. Otherwise, I would have came through. But
totally cool.
Yeah,
I absolutely understand.
I will be actually be in Tampa. So
that's hilarious. I literally just came from.
I know. I know you told me that the other day. Yeah, my work sent me on a 4-day conference. This is not content anybody cares about, but
nah, I mean it's cool.
So anyway, And then anything else coming up the rest of the year? I know you like obviously we talked about Steady Hand. You got the two shows,
Yes, sir.
the Juneteenth show at State Park, and then obviously the Crystal Ballroom with Mako and Sleeping Bella and Def Soda. Anything else that is coming the rest of the year that fans of yours or new fans hopefully off of this interview can expect from you?
Oh, I have a whole lot of new music all summer, basically.
Let's go.
Like, I literally was in a session with Deric this morning working on a track that goes, I feel like it's pretty hard, I'm not going to lie.
Let's go.
But probably one of my favorite beats in a while. Like, we were literally just finishing up that track right before leaving here. I had to bounce it so we can listen to it in the car on the way over here.
Yeah, that's got to be exciting, right? When it's finishing a song and getting to like bump it in the car for the first time or something like that. Like,
Absolutely.
It's got to be sweet.
Car test is elite.
That is the big thing there. And yeah, anything else?
And also, I have a bunch of other songs. For example, the ones I was talking about that I did with Lucas at the last retreat. On top of that, we are also definitely going to be shooting more visuals and basically just more content. In terms of shows, I do have something in the works. Definitely have something in the works that might be coming after. I can't announce it yet.
Okay.
But it's really it's very, very cool. And it involves a homie who we've talked about earlier, so it's going to be very cool.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited.
Thank
for
you.
that. I'm sure others are too. My last question that I have for you before the last segment of this show, and I like asking this question just because I feel like it must be difficult. I feel like all these songs are like your babies. Like it's hard to it's hard. Like it's like asking like who's your favorite child, right? Asking parents who their favorite child is. What's your favorite song? If you could pick one like off the top of your head, like favorite song you've made, and or maybe one that's maybe not even out yet, and why? Like where is like. What's that song for you that maybe just like stands out a little bit more amongst the rest?
Dang. It's a tie between. I'm gonna stick to publish just because I'm always gonna love the newest stuff I create because I'm always trying to make the newest, trying to just get better on every song. However, between the songs, I think I'm between Check on Your Strong Friends and also it's gonna be Carefully.
Ooh.
Just in terms of versatility. And also, like, ability to, like, really chat my shit. Like, especially on Check on Your Strong Friends. Like, I love that
song.
I was screaming.
Yeah, you are. I know. It's funny you say that because, I think Earth Gang came out with a song pretty recently that's the exact same title of it. Not obviously the songs
really
are very
close.
different. Yeah, it's like something like that. And a lot of my friends see me as the strong friend. So I had actually a friend hit me up like, yo, I was listening to the Earth Gang song. Like, I'm just checking on you, man. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. But I love that song too for that reason, just because like I love the message behind it. I think it's like super important to just make sure like you're checking on all your friends, like regardless of, what they, because I think some people can put on that hard exterior, like, oh, I'm good, I'm chilling, I'm fine, but like, we're all going through something, man. We're all fighting about. There's that saying too of like everyone's fighting a personal battle that you know nothing about.
Exactly, and that's and also like for example, like Jacob actually brought that to my attention as well because he's also a huge Earth Gang fan. And he was like, "Yo, there's a song that's like really." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I haven't even gotten a chance to listen to the album because I'm also a huge Earth Gang fan.
Oh, they're so.
And when I was told that, I'm like, this is fire because of the fact that mental health in the Black community is extremely important. And in general, it's like it's intersectionality in that situation.
Yes.
And like it doesn't get talked about enough.
Yes.
So at points like this, I think it's extremely, extremely beneficial that you've seen so many more people even address it and also like come in. So I've just been really happy to see more people and more artists like bring attention to it.
Absolutely.
So folks can actually like start taking care of themselves in that regard too.
It's so important. It's the the analogy of the airplane, right? If you're you got to put your oxygen on first before you can help other people. You got to make sure you're good. I was just having this conversation with somebody last night where it's like you got to make sure you're good. You got to make sure you're spending enough time taking care of yourself, whether eating. I mean, that's eating well or going to the gym, like whatever it is. That meditating, therapy, whatever it is you need to like help your mental and physical and spiritual being be the best it can be, everything else kind of will, not to say take care of itself, but you're just going to be in a better position to do all those things. So
Exactly.
I applaud you for having, putting that message in your music. like you said, especially as a black man, for sure, that being a sort of a taboo sort of stigma thing that I think we're starting to break down, of us people, being able to talk about that a little bit more.
Exactly.
Whether you're a man and women too. I don't want to leave women out of it too, but I just feel like it's always been like this, male toxic masculinity sort of thing where it's like we can't talk about these things, or like it's not allowed or whatever, or like we're soft if we do, right? I come from a background sort of similar to that, where like I have a Italian father off the boat, and it's just that was always the mentality. The men, you don't talk about those sort of emotions. It just was never a thing that was ever addressed to me as a kid. Mm-hmm. So now it's it's kind of playing pickup a little bit, and I hope once I have children, then I'm able to have those conversations with them earlier, regardless of whatever gender they are. But just I think it's just so important. So just definitely want to applaud you for that. And those are two of my favorite songs of yours as well. I have a funny feeling I'm gonna like Steady Hand a lot though when that drops, but having said that,
that's definitely fair.
Well, Timi O, you've been such an incredible guest, man. This has been such an awesome podcast episode. Like, it's an honor for me to have you here and chop it up with you. And this has just been incredible. So thank you so much for stopping by. But I do have one final question for you, and this is our open response. And speaking of being fans of other artists like Earth Gang, this is the dream song scenario. So I will give you, structure this song for you. You get a song. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you can create this song with any artist, dead or alive. All right. Mm-hmm. I'll structure it a little bit for you. So you get one producer, or if you want a second producer, you can dabble into, you can mix and match if you want two producers. Mm-hmm. And then you get 3 guest features. All right. So you get a verse, and then you get someone to do a hook, and then you get 2 additional verses. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, producer can be dead or alive. 3 additional features on that song. Dead or alive can be any artists in the entire world who would be on Timi O's dream song.
Shit, damn. It's crazy because I gotta figure out if I want to make a hit or if I want to make an experience.
No one has ever, I've asked this question, I don't know how many times, probably 60 times, and I don't think 50, 60 times, I don't think anybody's approached or like said something like that. Everyone always just goes for the straight hit or like their favorite artists and stuff like that. So that's interesting that you're going that direction.
Lately,
or even broaching that conversation or that question.
I've always had a lot more fun when I make an experience for a person, because like I want to leave a lasting impression, and based on that, I think for production, I think Kanye straight up just comes. I think I want Kanye West on the production. Also, people who are really good at creating experiences. Frank Ocean definitely needs to be involved.
Frank Ocean, baby. It's incredible.
You said guest verses.
You get 2 guest verses. You get a verse, of course, because it's your song. So Frank could get a verse unless you want him to do the hook.
And one thing is that Frank also does a lot of production.
He does.
Well.
So you could have him work with Kanye and do a little,
But low key, I think I want Pharrell to help with the production a little bit more. I think I'd want Kanye first half, Pharrell switch into second half, and then you have Frank go into like something a lot more like melodic and soulful. But the first part is extremely intense and like telling the story. Basically, just damn, what would I even make the story about? Yeah, someone who's really good at making the experience. Kanye production. Probably really intense, like rap feature for me. It's something similar to Steady Hand. Who would complement that well? Damn.
You got two guest features left.
2 guest features. I think I would definitely. Just in terms of like the area, I think I'd want Saint Leor on that.
Ooh!
Imagine Saint Leor on the fucking Kanye track,
dude.
That shit would go
That would be ridiculous.
That would go.
I love that you're bringing
nuts.
in a local guy too.
Yeah,
That's your local artist. That's pretty sweet.
I've always been big on just like working with people who like I feel are either like friends or just like granted, I haven't had enough interaction with Saint Leor to be able to call him friend, but like he's one of the coolest people I've met so far.
Dope.
And I would definitely want to.
They're awesome. The Van Buren guys. They're
they're
up next.
Yeah, absolutely. But
or not even up next. I
not
feel like
they're
kind of arrived. They're there.
Like,
they've kind of arrived. I mean, I'm talking like on a national scale. I feel like they're up next, like from
facts.
this area, like for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Saint Leor,
Saint Leor and me on the Kanye half. And then on the second half, it would be shit. Nah, I think I want to be on the second half too. But I need one more person
Mm-hmm.
who compliments Frank well. All right, so if I'm gonna do a flow on something like that, it'd probably be really heavy pads, angelic. Frank hitting some high notes. Me coming in with like deep tones, probably poetic in terms of the delivery. You know, it'd be interesting. Mick Jenkins. Mick Jenkins would be really fucking interesting. Have you ever listened to Mick Jenkins? Don't tell me you haven't heard of Mick Jenkins, bro. No.
Stop it.
Okay,
Stop it.
I'm about
you
to.
Seriously? I mean,
The
the Waters, Trees and Truths.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Like I've been listening to Mick Jenkins for 8 to 10, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Mick Jenkins guy. I'm thinking about it because I feel like your cadences are a little bit I don't
Too
say
similar.
Not
I
similar,
know.
but like I feel like it would be interesting to see almost hear you guys like go back and forth or something like that.
It might be an interesting concept actually, and it's funny because I've gotten that multiple times.
Yeah.
Like for example, like whenever I talk to T, he's like, "Yeah, you almost sound like Mick in a little way."
You do.
Fit.
You do. Now I didn't pick up on that until you said it. And I'm also a little bit offended you thought I didn't know who Mick Jenkins is.
Hey, bro, I looked at you.
Just
And
like
I couldn't figure out.
No, I was thinking about how that would sound like.
Yeah.
But no, that's dope as shit.
I mean, based on like a lot of the themes I've been going off, it'd be really interesting because like maybe you could do like a back and forth and you couldn't tell who's saying what.
Yeah, that's ooh.
That might go insane.
That
So
would
it's like, the first part, Kanye production, very like Yeezus, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy-esque.
Okay.
And it's like super intense. Me having the first verse, Saint Leor on the second verse, switches into some crazy ass production.
Yeah.
By P and Frank Ocean, because I don't know if you know, but Frank Ocean and Pharrell worked on Pink and White together.
Yes, I did know that.
In terms of the production,
Mhm.
yeah. So you have like these crazy ass melodies and also like just the perfect production and percussion, because Pharrell's percussion is like insane.
It's insane.
And then
Absolutely.
you'd probably have me opening up, and then there's certain parts where it switches back and forth between me and Mick, and just hitting like punchlines, but also talking about like male vulnerability, and also just kind of being, because Mick Jenkins also very much touches
Oh yeah, he's
on
done
that
a
as
lot.
well,
He's done
and he
a
does
lot.
that very well. So it's like if you just go back and forth on that, you just have this crazy ass experience. And to end it off, I don't know if in terms of production, I'm going a little too in deep. Too in depth.
No, that's this song already. Well, it's funny. You said you wanted to make an experience. I think you're doing both. You're making a hit and an experience. Timi O featuring Mick Jenkins, Saint Leor, and Frank Ocean with production from Pharrell and Kanye. I think it would be both a hit and an experience for sure. And yeah, we'll manifest it. We'll speak these into existence.
Absolutely.
That's sort of half the point of this too. It's like, just it's a fun exercise, but also like, maybe we'll manifest something. Timi, thank you so much, man. This has been such an amazing episode.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Take the last few moments here to plug away. Let the people know where they can find you. And again, anything you want to plug. This is your time. Go ahead.
All right, so this is Timi O, aka Timi Two Strand, aka Himothy, aka I'm fucking with you. So follow me on Instagram, of course, Timi Two Strand, which is TimitwoStrand, Timi Two Strand, and also I'm the same thing on Twitter. Definitely go watch Chiro if you haven't yet. Oh, one thing I haven't said yet: shout Geraldine, aka Dr. Sullivan, for letting us use a Main Street Chiropractic. If you haven't gotten your spine cracked or realigned recently, you should definitely go to Nashville, New Hampshire, and go to Main Street Chiropractic. Damn, I didn't even tell the story of how we did that. We gotta do another one of these. We definitely gotta do another one of these because that was one of the craziest. I love. Hey, shout Geraldine, man. Damn. Oh, we got to put on the Ghanaians too. Shout out Anake Krom. Wow, I definitely fucked up that name, so they're going to be on my ass for that. Anyways, Worcester, Massachusetts, Anake Krom, you definitely have to go visit that. Shit. Damn, there's a Suya joint. Go to Suya joint in Dorchester, I believe. Nigerian food spots, all fire. I remember Wale literally put out a tweet and said, "Where should I go get food?" I'm like, "You should go to Suya joint." He did not go to Suya joint, and he was upset. Yeah, he fucked up very bad.
Fucked up.
Damn, what else? James C taking over the world, of course. Timi O taking over the world. Lucas taking over the world. Jiida taking over the world. All the homies taking over the world. Meltycanon taking over the world. Yeah, I almost just want to kind of like, if you hit like a doodaloo like Narwhal at this point, because I don't even know what else I want to plug. I'm just
Oh man, dude, you're something else, man. I appreciate you so
I'm
much.
extra.
You're awesome. No, you really are. This has been a lot of fun. Well, hey, Timi O, if you're coming on to us for just the first time, obviously follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram, TikTok. We're doing all that thing. Subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever that is. And follow our website, www.turntableteachers.com. We got all the latest blogs, episodes, all the good stuff, merch even, all on that website. Make sure you check that out if you are a fan of Timi O, just coming on to us for the first time. And once again, Timi, thank you so much for being here, man. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And as always, I'm Mike. This is Timi O with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.